My mic. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is your boy AJ Murphy, aka Age, in the studio here. We are live post game after the Vikings game. The Vikings fall to the Philadelphia Eagles 38-24 on Thursday Night Football on the road at Lincoln Financial Field. And dang, we just didn't have enough juice in the tank. I had said before we had to, if we were gonna lose, it had to be close, and it didn't look like it was gonna go that way, and then it did. So I'm glad it did. But before we hop into it, I want to tell you about the easiest way to get some action on sports. It's our friends at Underdog Fantasy in their pick game. Underdog Fantasy, man, they just wail. Underdog Fantasy. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player stats. And you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy to use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pickup entry, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. Use the code 10K to get your first deposit doubled up to by $100. Once again, that's code 10K on the Underdog app, or go to underdogfantasy.com or click the link below to get your first deposit doubled on Underdog today. I hope you guys are on Underdog. I really hope you are, because the play of the day, cashed, baby. Kirk Cousins over 38.5 passing attempts. Took garbage time, but we got there with it. And then Jalen Hurts, I think that cashed almost in the first half or right away. 9.5 rushing attempts for Jalen Hurts, higher. So we always do higher unless if it's someone that's a bum. Lower, but yeah, we cashed the play of the day. So hopefully y'all tailed on some money. Well, getting into it here, the first half looked steady. The Eagles go down, score a field goal. Vikings go 3-and-out in typical Vikings fashion. Almost recovered a fumble on that subsequent punt. Ryan Wright has been absolutely brilliant. I don't think Ryan Wright gets his flowers. I should say, not it. He just does it, man. He booms it. He gets it down there. He had a lot of good punts tonight. Helped the defense to try and do what they could to get positive field position. So we end up punting, and the Eagles end up punting, almost getting a fumble recovery. Or I'm sorry, the Eagles punted to us. Brandon Powell had a good return, and then he coughs it up. So there's one turnover. Great. But then we get it right back on a Jalen Hurts interception via Theo Jackson. Theo Jackson came in as some safety help to help Metellus when he went out with a shoulder injury. Losing a guy like Metellus is never great, but he ended up coming back. So good to see there. They went after Theo Jackson a bit on that first drive after Metellus came out. They had the deep ball down the end to Devonta Smith. That ended up being like 50, 55 yards, I believe. A long play, 54 yards. Yeah, 54 yards. A long deep bomb to get them in plus territory to set them up for that field goal. So they went after him. But you like to see the safeties. You'd like to see Theo Jackson come together there and make that interception. And then, okay, second turnover, cough it right back up. Alexander Madison on the fumble, got stripped. More on him later, but yeah, I don't know if that's it. And then we push him back, play some defense. They miss a field goal. All right, so we're feeling good. We're still in this. It's 7-3. Well, what happens next? We get a touchdown. We score that touchdown. We get a long drive coming down, and Hawkinson finds pay dirt. Good to see Hawkinson get some work this week. We saw him a little bit last week, but the more that Hawkinson can be involved with this offense, the more that Hawkinson can be a scoring piece in this offense, I think is going to benefit us for the better. And hey, when you're paying your $17 million plus a year tight end, you got to make sure that he gets pay dirt. So that's what happened there. 16 plays, 75-yard drive for the Eagles. Took up a good chunk of time. They go down there, and then Jalen Hurts does his little thing in the end zone at the goal line. We were tweeting it during the game. Please hashtag ban the push. The push is something that should not be allowed at all. Like, there is no way that we can ever allow that. I mean, maybe I'm just sounding salty because their offensive line is so good at doing that damn little play. They just get it done. So Adrian says, so tired of the fumbles. Yeah, you know what? Me too, Adrian. It's I mean, to see two, I mean, well, we had 3 fumbles, one in the second half with Kirk, but 2 fumbles in the first half, especially when you have momentum. You know, that Brandon Powell, it was a good return. Whenever you're able to get a return of 12 yards or more, that'll set you up pretty well, but not when you cough up the football. It's not going to work. And then Madison, again, one play on the first play of that drive, coughs up the football. Can't happen. It just can't happen. So totally agree with you there, Adrian. Yeah. Going to Justin's comment, did they ever say what is wrong with Oli Udo? Also another 350 plus yards from Kirk. Yeah, you love to see it. Kirk getting it done in garbage time ish. I mean, there's still a chance to come back. We came back from 33-0. So what's to say that we can't come back from whatever we were down in the fourth quarter to the Eagles? But yeah, Kirk, he just does it. I mean, and this offense is going to keep doing that. I hope everybody put some money in on Kirk Cousins season long for that passing yards because he's going to crush that number. As far as Oli Udo, he got freaking tossed by Josh Sweat, I believe. And I don't think they ended up saying what was wrong on the broadcast. It might have looked like it was like a severe leg, knee issue because on the broadcast, Ryan O'Neal was kind of standing over him and he looked kind of upset at what had happened. And Oli Udo wasn't moving at all. They had to throw him on the cart and get him out of there. But they did not end up saying what's wrong with Oli Udo. Hopefully he's good. But I thought up until that point and a couple other moments, he played very well for Darisaw in relief. Darisaw, I don't think he was on the injury report. So, and he was on the sideline fully padded up. So wonder what's up there. We'll have to wait and hear and see more. Hopefully Kevin O'Connell will get into that in the press conference or someone will give us some answers there. But yeah, another, as we were saying, you know, long touchdown drive, Eagles, then the killer. The Vikings mount a great drive, start mustering up points. Justin Jefferson gets a clutch catch inside the 10, reaches for the goal line, and fumbles that out of bounds through the end zone. That can't happen. That's devastating. And when you got a guy like that, he's going to go try and get those touchdowns. He's going to go try and get those scores. But I felt like the effort there was a little bit just reckless. Didn't love it. So that's tough there. But I don't know. It's tough for me to be critical of Jefferson in that situation. I don't know what the play is there. But he pulled a Derek Carr, fumbled it out the end zone, and that's a crusher. It just is. The Eagles able to mount some momentum. They get 37 yards off the touchback. They end up getting a field goal on a bomb from Jake Elliott, 61 yards to make it 13-7 heading into halftime. And, you know, going into halftime, things looked okay. Things looked fine. You know, you're hanging with the NFC champions despite turning over the ball 3 times in the first half. I say if we don't turn over that ball 3 times, you know, what's to say that we're not up 14-13 or even more than that or, you know, close to. Like, we got to be able to stop turning over the ball here because it's getting ridiculous. Moving to the second half here. Fumble it right away on a Kirk Cousins strip sack. Jordan Davis was eating all night. Got to Kirk Cousins, was able to cause some havoc and just couldn't work. 2 plays later, they hit pay dirt. Jalen Hurts up the middle. Another push touchdown. Great. So then you flip the table, and it's interesting there because on the Jefferson fumble, you got a chance to not only score before the half, get the ball at half, and get the ball after half and able to make some points. Now, it's just not going to work. If you do all that stuff, I mean, it's just not going to work for you. There's no way that you can make all those turnovers work. 4 turnovers. Ugh, man, I'm just so sick of that. It's just sickening to hear that and see that. Sorry, guys, got disconnected here from stuff. All right. But yeah, it was just not a good. I mean, there's some things that we did well and some things that we did not do well. But overall, you know, it's a tough game. DeAndre Swift went loose on the ground. Absolutely loose on the ground. Too many turnovers, says Brian. I agree. And then he also said, from Brian Hurley, need a running back. Madison ain't it. And let's touch on that. Let's touch on that, guys. Because I think that it's just not it. You know, when you had Dalvin, a home run hitter, you could hit those gaps, you could do stuff. But Madison as the two, it was great. When Madison's the one, I just don't think it's going to work. He's not quick enough. He's not shifty enough. He doesn't have that burst. We need a guy that has that burst. We need a guy that has that home run hitting power, that home run hitting speed. But yeah, it's just not looking good. Not looking good at all. I put up a poll yesterday on Twitter. Should Kwesi go get Jonathan Taylor? I want to know your guys' feedback on that. If you're jumping in here, Vikings lose. I want to know your feedback if we should go get JT. Please let me know because I feel like we should. And you're right. We're going to end up paying a gob ton of money for whoever we get. But I think, I don't know what happens with the salary cap next year. I think you could free up enough money to bring in Jonathan Taylor. Because, yeah, he's not it. And then Brian also said sign Dalton. Sign Dalton Reisner. I agree. Schlotman got work tonight at center. But when you're going up against the Eagles' defensive line, when you're going up against a guy that's as young and strong and just crazy as Jordan Davis is, it's going to be tough. So I don't really know what's up with the whole Dalton Reisner thing. Let's hope we can see him in purple. Maybe they're holding out for that. I don't really know what the play is there. Hi, AJ, longtime listener, first-time caller. We made DeAndre Swift look like AP. Yep, we sure did. Man, he ate us up on the ground tonight. I can't even tell you how so sick and tired I am of seeing people eat us up on the ground. It's been like this forever, where when we have a guy that gives up, when we let up over 100 yards on the ground, we just can't do it. We just can't win. And it seems like a kind of an obvious thing, but this has been happening for years and years to random running backs. And not that DeAndre Swift was random, but I don't know. Veach, go get JT with an 0-2 start and no line to give him a chance. No. All right, well, thanks for your feedback, Veach. I didn't even read the stats. Wow, I totally missed that part. Okay, well, let's get into the stats. Kirk Cousins, 31-44, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, took 2 sacks. Love to see it. If you had him in fantasy, you're probably feeling very great about yourself right now. Lucky me, I'm going against him in fantasy. So that's super cool when your favorite quarterback puts up a ton of yards and they lose, but you're going against him in fantasy. Madison, 8 carries, 28 yards, 3.5 average. 9 carries. Again, 9 carries. I mean, we've had 23 carries going back to the last 2 weeks. And maybe this line isn't built to run, but you got to at least try. I don't know. I mean, and we were down early, so it's hard to be able to run the ball and establish stuff when you're down early. But ugh. Justin Jefferson, 11 catches, 159 yards, long of 30. That kid is special. Even when he doesn't find the end zone, which he hasn't yet. Getting nervous about that higher 8.5 bet for touchdowns. But, I mean, he just balls out, man. He just balls out. Jordan Addison, 3 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Had that long touchdown to give us some hope in the third quarter. You love to see it. But I think eventually Addison will overtake KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne tonight, 3 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. And he got wide open on that touchdown, but he also had 2 drops. You can't have that happen. So I think, you invest a first-round pick in Jordan Addison, he's going to end up taking over a bunch of those routes eventually. Eventually, he will take over those routes. Don't sleep, guys. Josh Oliver able to find the stat sheet. Madison, 3 catches for 11, yada, yada, yada. TJ, 7 catches, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. If you had him in fantasy, you're probably feeling good about yourself too. So, but yeah. And then the killer on the other side, DeAndre Swift, 28 carries, 175 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, that is some AP stat-like numbers. That's you playing Madden with your buddy or playing Madden against your little brother or your cousin and just running the ball and knowing that you can't let up. There's just nothing going to happen. So yeah, Boston Scott, 5 carries, 40 yards. Hurts, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 193 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Able to sack him 4 times. I think this defense will end up getting it together eventually. I think this defense is going to end up getting it together eventually. But yeah. So, tough scene there. You don't like to ever have a game go down like that. And it just sucks. 0-2 start just sucks, especially with the schedule. You lose last week. Everyone kind of chalked this up as an L, but you get hopeful there. And then it just didn't work. So, tough situation. Got to bounce back next week. Can't lose to the Chargers. But that's a high-powered offense. They do have some dogs on defense, but they've got a deficiency in the cornerback system. They've got some deficiencies back there, so maybe we can make something work against them next week. I don't know. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I cannot deal with another 0-3 start. That just ain't going to work for us. You're kicking the tires on the season. Rumors start to fly. The schedule doesn't get any tougher. We got Kansas City coming down the road, 49ers coming in. It kind of lightens up, but to get out of this first half here of the season, it's going to be really tough. You have to win some games that you're not going to be favored to win. And, now we've got some stuff at home. The good thing is that we have all the opponents at home. Chargers, Chiefs, 49ers, all at the House of Pain. But if you can't beat the Bucs at the House of Pain, then it's tough sailing. So, yeah, not really at a loss for words, but it's just tough to see this happen to a team that has a lot of potential. And the defense, the personnel is just not there yet. I think Ivan Pace is going to be really good, but he's missed a lot of stuff. And I think he'll grow into that. This pass rush, I've been impressed with it. We saw a lot of stunts tonight. We saw a lot of blitzes, a lot of A-gap stuff. I think the defense will come along as the year goes along. Hopefully the secondary will come along because they got cooked tonight. Yeah, they got cooked tonight. Nothing else to say about that, but got to be able to cover up that stuff on the back end with those hot blitzes, and I think it will get better. The offense hopefully will stop turning over the balls. I mean, when you got these crazy defenses you're going up against, it's just going to happen. And it's going to keep happening when you go against the 49ers, but you got to be able to figure something out here. So hopefully we can get, Darrisaw back. Hopefully we can get Bradbury back. We can get some of these guys healthy and really turn this thing around, because starting 0-3, losing to the Chargers, that game is going to be sweet, by the way. Sweet. Chargers in their white, us in the purple. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be 30+. So definitely take the over if you're a betting kind of person next week. But we'll talk more about next week when the next week arises. But yeah, to put a bow on the show today, Eagles 34, Vikings 28. We fall. If you had Eagles 6.5, Vikings on the other side of the spread, you maybe made some money. I know I did today with the underdog play of the day. So hopefully y'all tailed that underdog play of the day. There's going to be one of those every single week because I love underdog. I love pick-em entries. And boy, I love winning money. That's going to wrap it up today for AJ Murphy. State of Skol here. Signing off. Thank y'all.